Hey everyone, you're listening to English Go Easy, and I'm your host, Spark.
Hey, I'm Xena. Today we're doing something really useful, especially if you're a student or planning to study in an English-speaking country.
That's right, we're going to show you a real conversation between a teacher and student. This is the kind of English you'll actually use in classrooms, during office hours, or when you need help with your assignments.
And this is a natural, real-world scenario that happens every single day in American schools and universities.
So, whether you're asking questions in class, requesting an extension on an assignment, or just trying to build a relationship with your teacher, this episode will help you do it confidently.
And remember, as always, we want you to repeat after us. This is shadowing practice, the best way to improve your pronunciation and get comfortable with real English.
So grab your notebook, get ready to practice, and let's dive into this teacher-student conversation. Xena, you ready to be the teacher?
Oh, I was born ready. Let's see if you're a good student, Spark.
We'll see about that. Let's go. Excuse me, Professor Xena, do you have a few minutes to talk?
Of course, Spark. Come in, have a seat. What can I help you with today?
Thanks. So, I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. First, I'm having some trouble with the research paper that's due next week.
Okay, let's start there. What specifically are you struggling with?
Well, I chose my topic, the impact of social media on mental health, but I'm having a hard time narrowing it down. It feels too broad, you know?
That's a very common problem, and you're right, that topic is quite broad. What aspect of social media and mental health interests you the most?
I'm really interested in how it affects teenagers specifically, like all the comparison and cyberbullying stuff.
Perfect. So instead of social media in general, you could focus on the impact of social media on teenage mental health, with emphasis on comparison culture and cyberbullying. See how that's more specific?
Oh, wow, yeah, that sounds way more manageable. So I should focus my research on just teenagers.
Exactly. And you might even want to pick one or two platforms like Instagram and TikTok rather than trying to cover all social media. That way you can go deeper instead of broader.
That makes so much sense. I was trying to include everything and it was overwhelming. Okay, so my next question is about sources. How many do I need?
For this paper, I'm looking for at least 8 credible sources. That means academic journals, published studies, or reports from reputable organizations, not just random websites or blogs.
Got it. And where's the best place to find those? The library?
Yes, the university library has access to academic databases like JSTOR, PubMed, and Google Scholar. Have you used those before?
I've heard of Google Scholar, but I've never really used it properly.
Okay, here's what I recommend. Go to the library, either in person or online, and talk to a librarian. Tell them your topic, and they'll show you how to search these databases effectively. They're incredibly helpful.
Oh, I didn't know I could do that. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely. And when you're reading sources, make sure to take good notes and keep track of your citations. You'll need them for your bibliography.
Right, we're using APA format, correct?
Yes, APA 7th edition. Make sure your title page, headers, and references are all formatted correctly. There are great templates online if you need them.
Okay, I'll look those up. So, about the deadline, I wanted to ask if there's any flexibility there. I'm not asking for an extension right now, but I'm a little worried because I have 3 other papers due that same week.
I understand. Midterms and finals periods can be really overwhelming. Here's my policy. If you need an extension, you have to ask at least 48 hours before the deadline, and you need to have a legitimate reason.
That's fair. I'm going to try my best to get it done on time, but it's good to know that option exists if I really need it.
Exactly. And honestly, if you start working on it this week and follow the outline we discussed, you should be fine. Break it into smaller tasks. Outline today, research this week, first draft next week, then revisions. Don't try to write it all in one night.
Yeah, I definitely learned that lesson the hard way last semester. I'm trying to be more organized this time.
Good. That shows growth. So you said you had a couple of things to discuss. What else is on your mind?
Right. So the second thing is more about my future plans. I'm thinking about applying for graduate school next year, and I was wondering if you'd be willing to write me a letter of recommendation.
I'd be happy to consider it. Tell me more about your plans. What programs are you looking at?
I'm interested in psychology programs, specifically ones that focus on adolescent development and mental health. I've been really passionate about this since taking your class.
That's wonderful. Your interest really shows in your participation and work. Have you done any relevant experience outside of class? Internships, volunteer work, research?
Yes, I've been volunteering at a teen crisis hotline for the past 6 months, and I'm also working as a teaching assistant for the intro psychology course.
Excellent. Those experiences will definitely strengthen your application. For the letter of recommendation, I'll need a few things from you.
Of course, what do you need?
First, send me your updated resume or CV. Second, write a brief statement, maybe a paragraph or two about why you want to go to grad school and what your career goals are. Third, give me a list of the programs you're applying to and their deadlines.
I can definitely do that. When would you need all of this by?
How soon are your applications due?
Most of them are due in early January, so about 3 months from now.
Perfect. Get me those materials by mid-November. That gives me plenty of time to write a strong letter, and I'll need at least 3 weeks before each deadline.
That works perfectly. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. It really means a lot to me.
You're very welcome. You've been an outstanding student, and I'm confident you'll do well in graduate school. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
Actually, yeah. Do you have any general advice for someone applying to grad school? Like things you wish you'd known?
Oh, great question. First, make sure your personal statement is authentic. Don't just write what you think they want to hear. Write about your genuine passion and experiences.
Okay, be authentic. Got it.
Second, reach out to professors at the programs you're interested in. Email them, express your interest in their research, maybe even ask if they're taking new students. Building those connections can really help.
I hadn't thought about that. So just like cold email them?
Yes, but make it personalized. Show that you've actually read their work and explain why their research interests you. Professors appreciate genuine interest.
That's really good advice. I'll start doing that.
Third, don't apply to too many programs. Quality over quantity. Pick 5 to 8 programs that truly fit your interests and goals.
5 to 8. Okay. I was thinking about applying to like 15.
That's way too many. Each application takes time and money, and you want to put real effort into each one. Focus on the programs that are the best fit.
That makes sense. Okay, I'll narrow down my list. This is all super helpful.
I'm glad. And remember, my door is always open. If you have questions about your paper, grad school applications, or anything else, don't hesitate to stop by during office hours.
I really appreciate that, Professor Xena. You've been so supportive this whole semester.
That's what I'm here for. I love seeing students succeed and pursue their passions. You're going to do great things, Spark.
Thank you. That really means a lot coming from you. Okay, I'll let you get back to your work. Thanks again for all your help.
Anytime. Good luck with the paper, and don't forget to send me those materials for the recommendation letter by mid-November.
I won't forget. Thanks again. Have a great day.
You too, Spark. See you in class.
All right, everyone. That was a complete, natural teacher-student conversation in English.
We covered asking for help with assignments, discussing research topics, talking about deadlines, requesting letters of recommendation, and getting advice about the future.
These are real conversations that happen every day in universities across America. The phrases, the tone, the way we communicated, this is exactly how it works.
Remember, teachers are there to help you. Don't be afraid to ask questions, seek guidance, or build relationships with your professors. They want you to succeed.
Exactly. Being proactive, organized, and respectful will get you so far in your academic career.
So, practice this conversation, repeat the phrases, and use them when you need to talk to your teachers.
Thanks for tuning in to English Go Easy. If this episode helped you, smash that subscribe button and share it with other students learning English.
Drop a comment and tell us, have you ever had to ask a teacher for help or a recommendation? How did it go?
Until next time, stay curious, keep learning, and remember, your teachers are your allies.
Good luck with your studies.
Peace out.